Hi, I'm Guy Hutchinson. This is Pointless Nostalgia. Glad you're here again. I shaved today for you. I shaved for you. It's just getting too long, you know. I don't know if you guys, I like to grow in a beard, and then once it starts like curling into your mouth, I'm like, I got no more of that. All right, today we're talking about this board game, Skatebirds. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. I picked this up at a weird place. It's a weird game. It's got a neat history. It's based on a TV series that not a lot of people remember. I bet if you're tuning in, there's one of two reasons you're tuning in. One, you regularly watch videos on this channel, so you don't know what this is, or you search for Skatebirds and not much came up except for this. So here we are, you and I, whoever you are. Glad you're here. We're going to have some fun talking about this. By the way, this is Pointless Nostalgia. I do a new video every day at 2 o'clock, so come back tomorrow. There'll be something new. Right now, we're going to look at this. This has a pretty unique mechanism to play. This is a Milton Bradley game, age 7 to 12. So they got a tight, this is a tight window that you're able to enjoy this. Your object is to be the first skatebird to the Treehouse Studio. You can see the cat chasing after these skatebirds, and they're just skating there, but they want to get to the Treehouse Studio, which is over here. So we got to get them there with this game. All right, here we go. A zany game featuring the popular characters. You can see there, Hanna-Barbera, 1978. Not one of the more famous Hanna-Barbera character series. This is one of those shows where you have multiple different character sets, and where I got this has to do with these three. Take a good look. You probably recognize Moe, Larry, and Curly of the Robonic Stooges. It might have been Curly Joe. I don't know, because by this point, definitely Curly had passed on, but this was the animated Robonic Stooges. So they were like the Inspector Gadget Stooges. See, like he had a leg that stretched all the way over there. And so I bought this at the Three Stooges convention. They used to do, I think they still do it, but the days have changed a bit with it. They used to do a Three Stooges convention every year in Pennsylvania. There's a place called the Stoogium, and every year they had a banquet hall, and we would go there, and they had the Three Stooges convention. And then one year they announced, we're not having it next year. We're going to skip a year, and then we'll have it every other year. And they said that the reason was that there wasn't enough interest anymore in the convention to fill it for every year, and they said that the amount of guests that they were able to bring in had gone down over the years as people had passed away. And so with less to offer, they thought it'd be good to do it every other year. And I got to tell you, I got out of the habit. So 2 years later came and I forgot about it. And I never went back. So I don't know if they still do it. I used to go every year. I think semi-annual is not as good as annual. But at one of these conventions where I got this game, the zany skatebirds scurry around trying to organize their TV show. Scat Cat does all he can to foul up the skatebirds' plans. He's built a marble slide at the treehouse. That thing is pretty cool. You'll see it. And does his best to stop the skatebirds. Now, there are skatebirds. I seem to remember that these were like puppet characters, almost like the Banana Splits. And then these were cartoons. And then these guys, I don't remember who they are. They look like a Scooby-Doo kind of thing, Goober and the Ghost Chasers. But whatever they were, like the Texan in the back, whatever they were part of the show as well. All right, here we go. For 2 to 3 players, we got to reach the Treehouse Studio. Contents include the treehouse panel, the marble slide, the marble. So when it says marble slide, the slide is not made out of marble. It is a slide for a marble, 3 plastic bases, blah, 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 blah. All right, so we're going to set this up, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll go over the rules and how you would play. Before I set this up, I didn't do the best explanation of the Three Stooges convention. So what they would do is they'd have this banquet hall, and they'd have one room, which would be a screening room, and they'd usually play some pretty rare stuff, usually not regular Three Stooges shorts. They'd take like a supporting actor that had been in a bunch of Three Stooges shorts, and they'd get a bunch of his films or her films, and you'd watch those. It was kind of neat to see, like, oh, that's the guy, you know, who played the butler in all those shorts, and now he is playing other things. They would get some guests, so they'd get some people that had worked with the Stooges. The last time I remember it, I believe it was a little girl who is now a grown old woman. I mean, not to be rude, she was an older woman, and she was a baby in a Three Stooges short. And I thought that was kind of neat, but it did kind of say, hey, you know, when they were doing this 40 years before, 20 years before, there was a lot more people around. But anyway, they would have an area where you could go and buy merchandise, and they'd have all kinds of Stooge stuff as well as other, you know, merchandise that didn't relate to it. So I saw this and I thought, oh, this guy's just selling a board game. And then he showed me the Robonic Stooges on it. I was familiar with that part of the cartoon because I was a Stooge fan. So anyway, I purchased it for a song. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure the guy was just happy to get rid of it. And let's take a look at it. All right, here we go. This is our marble slide. So the marble will go in there and it'll slide out. We'll get to the instructions on when we're going to use that. Kind of a cool looking game. I do like any time the game has some part that stands up. It actually has a groove in here that you insert it into, so it's not just stuck in there, so it wouldn't really fall out. Here are your playing pieces, and they're different characters from the show, like the big pelican, because the pelican's got a pelican. And then this guy looks like the Aquarian bird from, I don't remember which, Saludos Amigos, the Aquarian bird from Saludos Amigos. All right, we'll put him on start just so we know what we're doing. And we've got our cards over here. We've got our marble, and let's read the instructions. It says to play, you spin the spinner and the highest number goes first. So there's your spinner, pretty standard. Start your skatebird at start, of course. When the arrows point to one of the small numbers, you move your skatebird forward that many spaces. So one of the small numbers, and then there's those big numbers, the 1 and 2. If the arrow points to a large number, slide the treehouse panel left or right that many spaces, and be sure the arrow on the treehouse panel lines up directly with the arrow on the platform. Release the marble down the slide and it'll rebound off the end of the box and roll around. So let's take a look at this. So this, I told you, this slides into a slot here, and it can only move this far. So it starts there at number 1, and then you'd move it ahead. So let's say we had 2, we'd move it to here. And then we'd put our marble, then it came with a marble, and we'd put that marble right in here, and it'll roll around. I mean, theoretically, it's supposed to stop in one of these. All right, there we go. If the marble lands in a hole, you draw a card. If the marble does not, your turn is over. Okay, so most of the time it's not going to. I feel like this would have been, this cardboard here would have been much more firm years ago. I feel like decades of this thing existing has probably caused it to kind of settle in and be a little less flat, a little less of a flat surface. Basically, that's it. It's saying you have to reach the tree house, which is down here by exact count. You can see the tree house in the background there. And you're just moving around. Now, what do these red spots do? All right, this is kind of weird. Red spots on the path have no function other than to show you where to go when the card drawn sends you forward or backwards. So they have no special spots. They're just there, so if it says go backwards, you know where you got to go to. All right, these are the cards. They're punch-out cards, so you would punch them out of a sheet of cardboard. If you're ahead, you wait 1 turn. So that would mean if you were here and the other skatebird, where's our other skatebird? Oh, he's back here. The other skatebird's here, then you're ahead, you wait 1 turn. By the way, here, this is always something I'm nostalgic about. When you open up a box for an old game and you find this little sliver of cardboard that once had a purpose, these were punched off of it, I'm sure. And rather than bring this over to the trash can, they just stuck it in the box. And I kind of like that because now, all these years later, it's still here. It survived. Oh no, he's after Curly. Skate back 3. Go to the next red spot on the path. Scat Cat misses you. Go ahead, 2. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Take another shot at the skatebirds. Bang, bang. He's dead. All right. Well, there it is. It's pretty cool. It's a cool old game. You know, it is what it is. It's a thing of its time. Hope you enjoyed this. Right now, a box is going to pop up here and another box over here, and you could choose either one because I'm done. And And I'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll have all new stuff to talk about. Please come back. I'll see you there. Toodles.